What's up, family? Thanks for joining another episode of Black Gay Table Talk. I'm your host, Kenan, and for today's episode, we have filmmaker, writer, producer, director, CEO, and founder of Omi Pro TV, Mr. Roger Omeus. Roger, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
Of course, I'm a fan. I have to admit, I am a fan. So, family, if you didn't know, just to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag early, Roger is the mastermind behind both web series Finding Me and Talks with Myself. So, um, let's get into it. Okay, so, Roger, how did your journey in entertainment begin?
It began. I used to work at a photo studio in New York City, a big photo studio, and being around so many talented people that I worked with and people that were coming in, just seeing that um, brought back a passion that I had when I was in high school, which was photography and writing scripts and filmmaking. But being in that environment really gave me the tools, literally like equipment and stuff, to write my script and film it, and with people, actors, talents that I knew around me, and it just began from that point. This was back in 2007. Wow, it's a long time ago.
2007. Time flies, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Well, kudos to you. I mean, that's a long time, especially in what we're doing and I guess I could say the audience, right? That you try to appeal to or that you do appeal to.
yeah.
That's
It's
cool.
it's been a journey. It's been a real journey.
Yeah. What along that journey that you can think of now that was your most favorite part before things became what they are? I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Um, the best part was the relationships that were formed while making the very first Finding Me movie. Um, and the knowledge that I gained from it, because we were all very green. We all had experiences with, well, I didn't, other than working at the photography studios, but the actors, a lot of them had their own different experiences. But us putting this together, we formed a family, and I will never forget those memories that I have from those days of no one knowing who we were. This is an era where Noah's Ark was off the air, so it was just on, but it just went off the air, and then there was an oasis of nothing in terms of black gay content, and then there
Sure.
were stuff like DL Chronicles that came out almost, I want to say, around the same time or maybe a year before us, uh, and so it was. I just felt like there was an energy and a pulse that we were all a part of.
Mhm.
This before even YouTube, in a sense. I think YouTube was around. I'm not sure, but it just wasn't what it is right now. So
Right.
we were all kind of together doing it, building it together.
Got it. Got it. So if you don't mind me asking, what was your inspiration behind Finding Me, the movie?
Elin Harris's book Invisible Life, and then when I read that in 1998, maybe I
Yeah.
was inspired. That book just, it changed me. Um, and so Finding Me was a book at first. That's how it
Yeah.
started off, because Elon Harris inspired me. And then I shelved it. I had written part of it, not the whole book, but I written a lot of it. The Fabian character, the Greg character, the Amira character, it all existed in the book. And then years later, like I said, in 2007, I decided to change it into a screenplay, and that was the inspiration, definitely. And also, I would be remiss to say Elon Harris, Patrick Ian Polk's Punks. When that movie came out, I literally took. I went to see it like three times, and each time I took a group of people with me, because I'm
Really?
like, you have to see this movie because we're on the big screen.
Right. I
So yeah,
love
those two things. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And you know what? We have to do that sometimes. Like go and rally people up and get them out with us to support the arts. You know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
It makes the difference. It
Yep.
does. That is amazing. Yeah, Elin, that was a beautiful spirit, I will say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I had the fortune of, because he had a book reading one day in New York at a bookstore called A Different Light. And if anyone from my age group and lived in New York, you remember that bookstore. So I got a chance to meet him. I was like, I have to hear this man read his book, a passage from his book. And yeah, he really inspired me. May he rest in peace.
may he rest in peace. Oh, that's really cool. You do a lot, right? So you're writing, you're directing, producing, you're editing, right? What do you love the most about what you do?
That's a great question. Um, there isn't one thing. I love every piece of it. So writing it is difficult because I'm having to create something new and fresh each time.
Hmm.
But I still love when I'm writing it. I hear these characters coming to life through my fingertips, and then when we're filming it, it's always a fun time with this with the actors. We
Yeah.
always have a fun time. I mean, sometimes it can be frustrating because we're all working off of each other's work schedules, and sometimes where we're filming can dictate how the day will go.
Hmm.
But we always have a really good time on set. And then when it comes to editing, I sometimes wait because I want to. It's like I feel like a kid with some candy. I don't want to eat it all. I
Right.
wait a bit, and I go back and I look at pieces every now and then. I'm like, oh, it's coming together. So the editing is probably the most famous. I mean, my favorite because the story is coming together as I edit it, and
Got it.
it's like what I envisioned in my mind is now on screen. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I figured as much. I figured as so. Um, Staying with Finding Me, right? So, what was it like bringing the cast together? Did you already have an idea of who you wanted to play which character, or did you already have people in mind? How did that go for
No, it was all it all happened organically because like I said, the people that were around me or I was working with,
you?
I just saw their natural talent. And
Hmm. Hmm.
so Janara Corbin, who played Amira, we used to work at the same studio together, and she was and still is a beautiful woman, and she was very talented. Just her effervescence. So I
Hmm.
wanted her to be a part of it. Um, and then Eugene E. Turner, who is a very good friend of mine now. At the time, I didn't know him that well, but I
Hmm.
knew he was an actor, and him and I were in the same circles. Um, so I met him there, and I told him about I'm doing this movie, and he was like, "Yeah, right." And then I'm like, "No, I'm really doing this movie. Please, I want you to come audition." And he did. And the Fabian character, I had an actor already in mind for him, but I can't remember the reason why he bowed out. And so when Ray Martell came along, Ray did not visually look like Fabian to me. The way I saw Fabian was a brown skin to dark skin actor, and Ray is, a higher hue of he has a higher what's the word I'm looking for? He's a little light skin. I don't like using that word because that's whatever. But
But
his
we
you
get
know
it.
what
We get
I'm
it.
and so I didn't see that because Fabian was a little like myself. But when Ray read the script, I felt the butterflies in my stomach. I was like, "Oh, he's Fabian. That's it." And that's basically how it all came together. I mean, truth and something that a lot of people don't know, Maurice Morel, he actually read for Fabian once at one point, and he really did a great job. It's just I didn't see him as Fabian, and
Got it.
so he ended up playing Jay, and a lot of people thought he was like Jay, and Maurice was nothing like that character.
Got it. Okay. But it worked out though. It did
Yes,
work. It worked
yes,
out. That's cool.
definitely.
Finding Me is an amazing show. And so I'll say right now, thank you for taking the risk to bring us Black LGBTQ plus content, media, entertainment, the whole nine. Because, like you said, visibility matters, representation matters, and it's something that we've been craving and missing and needing. So I will say thank you on behalf of the Black Gay Table Talk family. We enjoy it. We do.
Thank you very much. That's great to hear because
Yeah.
we're in a silo a lot of the times and we don't know if people are really watching. At least I don't. So thank you.
You're in pre production now with Finding Me. So there will be another season.
Well, talks with myself, not finding me.
Okay, let me take it back. Okay,
don't
so
get people excited because finding me is for the most part done.
it's for the most part done.
Yeah, I mean, because this is still the finding me universe. Talk to myself is still in that same. So characters have popped in, like Eugene E. Turner, who plays Greg. He was in one of the episodes of Talk to Myself, playing Greg again.
Okay.
Um, and so I say for the most part because I think we've as the actors have moved not moved on. That's the wrong word. It's just that in order for me to do a Finding Me series again, there would need to be a budget. It just has to be so that
Okay,
things can be elevated to another level. Otherwise, it's kind of telling the same thing the same way, and I don't want that for not for that series. No,
got it. Okay. So is it fair to say that you're independent at this point?
very, very.
What is the experience of being an independent filmmaker for you?
It's interesting because that's a great question. It's interesting because for the longest, we would a lot of us independent filmmakers would complain, we don't have the budget, we don't have the money. But what I've learned throughout the years too is when you do get a budget from say some entity or someone else, you lose control of
Mm-hmm.
the creative process, the story that you're telling. Um, and that can be a fight that I don't think a lot of us are ready for or
Mm-hmm.
want. And I'll give an example. This is the cover of Finding Me Truth, the second film I did, and I was with TLA Releasing, which is the DVD distribution company.
Mm-hmm.
They did not want Amira on the cover. They were saying one person in particular, not the entire company. Let me be clear. One
Mm-hmm.
person in the company was like, "We don't think a woman should be on the cover," and I'm like, "Why not?"
Right.
He was saying because this is a gay series, a gay film, it should be men. And I said, in the black gay community, we
Mhm.
love a diva, we love a woman, and
Right.
so you have to understand that has to be on the cover. And so I fought to get Janara on the cover, and that's a small example of when you have other entities involved, the creative control can sometimes get whittled away. And
Mhm.
so, as an independent filmmaker, it's a struggle. It's a constant struggle to get things done, get new equipment, shooting guerrilla style, because that's all I've ever done.
Mhm.
But there's a blessing in it in the fact that I don't feel like I'm giving up my soul in order to continue doing my art. And so it's
Right.
just it's a twofold.
Right. It's your baby. It's your baby, and you want to protect your baby and make sure your baby grows in the way that you envisioned
Right.
your baby growing, you
Right.
know?
And
Hmm.
not just and also through the eyes of people, black people and people of color. Yes, the person who may be giving the money may be white. And so I don't ever want them to think that they can tell our stories better than we can. That's something I never want. Never.
Well said. Well said. Moving into talks with myself. Um, how, or I guess, what inspired you to create the Talks with Myself series, if you will, moving or shifting from Finding Me?
So at that time, there was three series I was doing, and it was focused on supporting characters that were in Finding Me, and now spotlighting them on their own series. So talks. It was Talks with Myself. There was James and Danielle, and there was Restitution. I was doing at the same time.
Hmm.
Talks with Myself spawned from the character Morris, played by Kenyon L. O'Brien. And Kenyon, I met him in 2012. He became Fabian's new love interest when we were doing Finding Me the series.
Hmm.
And Kenyon always has, in my mind, has this star quality. And I wanted to focus a story about his character who had a lot of flaws in the
Hmm.
Finding Me series and shine a light on that. And I wanted to flip the the story around, whereas you have a good looking person like Kenyon playing Morris, and things don't come easy for him. Like he has to go through obstacles. And I wanted to challenge the viewers who think, a lot of us think that, good looking people, just everything comes easy to them. And it's like, let's show that it doesn't, and let's show that they do have
Right.
issues. And that's what I want. That's what the story like kind of spawned from.
Got it. Roger, I was just having this conversation literally the other day. And it was like, oh, well, pretty people have it, easier. They can do this or they get the job. And I kind of contested it a bit because I'm like, well, but they go through their own struggles. Like, I know pretty boys who have been done wrong and who find it hard to find love or be taken serious. And I've found the pretty boys who might not get the job because they don't look like they would be willing to get dirty or be willing to
Right.
make the ugly face, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That is so cool that you had that idea with that.
Yeah. And Kenyon is he's a great person to work with, and he's rolled with a lot of the punches. So, I
Mhm.
mean, like I said, I've known him since 2012, and we've worked really well together this whole time doing talks with myself. And I just give a lot of kudos to him because he's such a quiet person,
Mhm.
and but he delivers. He delivers every time, every time.
That's cool. That's cool. I love it. So, talks with myself. If you could think of a moment right now, what's your proudest moment during this season?
This Okay, we just had a screening back in March 20th,
Hmm.
and it was for the season 5 finale.
Okay.
And I was very proud of one, how many people came, because we haven't had a screening since pre-COVID. Um, and so again, we work in a silo a lot. We tinker away in our own little bubble and not realizing if the audience is out there, and do they
True.
really care.
Yeah.
So when we had this screening and hearing the feedback from the audience was rejuvenating. It really, really was. I was on a high for a long time because people are people get the story and they
Yeah.
follow what's going on and they're interested and invested. And as a storyteller, that's the best that's the best thing you could ever ask for.
Yes. Have you done somewhat of like a screening tour at some point or
We did back in season 2. We did a screening tour. We did Philadelphia. No, no, not with Talks Myself. The most we've ever done was Philadelphia. Finding Me, we did a screening tour.
oh,
But Talks Myself, we did Philadelphia and Jersey, and that's
got
why
it.
I would love to expand that because I Talks to Myself has an audience that I recently last year released the first 3 seasons on YouTube. Um, Mainly due to the actors. They were like, Roger, we need to see we need more people to see the series outside of Omi Pro TV. So I put it on YouTube, and the response was it was I just wasn't expecting it. It
Hmm.
and for them, because we've been doing this for a while, for them it was a new show, and people were binging it. And still to this day, I'm getting comments from people like, "I can't stop watching it," or "This is addictive." And every time I hear that, it's just like, "Wow, I didn't know, I didn't know."
It is. It is. I love it. But I had to do that, the subscription, which I will get into now. What is it like having or seeing your baby become a platform, so to speak, and knowing that you're giving viewers that opportunity to, in essence, become one with what's going on?
Yeah. So just to give a little backstory, Finding Me the series was originally on YouTube.
Okay.
Then we Ray Martell, who played Fabian, he was an executive producer on the series, and he was saying, along with myself, we think we need to take it off YouTube because it's like free stories for networks to then be able to steal ideas from.
Mm,
So that's why we created Omi Pro TV so that we can keep our stories kind of a, a little bit more safe.
mm-hmm.
So once that happened, it became quieter. When it was on YouTube, it was a lot of people talking and involvement. When we got on Omi Pro TV, it became quieter because it's behind a paywall. People don't want to subscribe to stuff. People want things for free. I understand that. But as time has moved on, and the reason I put it out on YouTube, the Talks to Myself series, the first three seasons, is because we needed to get more of an audience. But
Mm-hmm.
I love having Omi Pro TV because again, it's a platform that was created by us for us.
Right.
Um, a lot of people think Omi Pro TV means my last name because it's the same first letters as my last name. It doesn't. It means Optimum Media Entertainment. And for a while, I had other series on the platform
Yeah.
when there were a lot more web series going on back in the day, like Drama Queens and I forget the other names. I had them on there for people to be able to watch because I was like, why isn't there a platform for Black gay content? We
Right.
still to this day need a platform for Black gay content. And I'm hoping that Omi Pro TV would be that platform. I've always wanted that. That's been my vision. And not in a greedy kind of way, like trying to get money. No, I just think that there needs to be a place that we can go to watch our stories. So I think it's still important. I think it's necessary to this day, even though we have YouTube and Tubi and
Mm-hmm.
Netflix. Getting on stuff like Netflix and HBO comes with a caveat. Like you are losing control
You're
of
losing control.
your stories. Yeah, in
Hmm.
my opinion, that's my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Understood. And I've talked to a few people, and the experiences have been different, but there's always that element of there's something that you're going to have to compromise or sacrifice in
Yeah.
order to make it happen, you know?
Yes, it's true.
Hmm.
Um, I don't say that lightly either because money makes things happen.
True.
But I'm not, and I'm not saying this is the case with everyone and every network. But I'm just not willing to sell my soul. I'm just not.
Got it. Shifting just a tad bit. Um, what's one of the, and you've done pitches, I'm sure, at this point, right? What's one of the weirdest or wildest pitches that you think you've had to date?
Um, the one that stands out in my mind is when I was doing the second movie, Finding Me Truth, and I had to pitch it to the distribution company because they did the first film,
Mhm.
and I was naive thinking, oh, they're just gonna give us money to do this film, and that's not how it worked out. But in order for me to get them to come on board with this one, I had to show them the sex scene. Um, and once
Oh,
I showed them that sex scene in the second film, they were like, we're gonna create a contract. And I'm like, great. That
so
was
the
my intention, but I was like, I know what we did, and I know how it looks. So sex sells.
sex sales. Was it refreshing when you saw that that was the scene that you had to show, or was it kind of like, I would have rather show you this, but nevertheless,
No, it was okay for me because everything I do in terms of sex scenes, I try to make it as artistic and not raunchy. It just teeters the line,
hmm,
so I was okay with it because
yeah,
it was a beautiful scene. It was a beautiful
yeah,
scene.
it was. All right. Your creative process. So when you're ready to sit and write and explore, whether it be characters or just ideas that you've had. What is Roger's process?
It's kind of counterproductive in a sense, but I need to sometimes be in a noisy place.
Really?
Whether it be me at work, me at a cafe, because I am a people watcher. And when I'm in a room with silence and nothing going on, it's hard for me to concentrate. Like, I don't like quiet. I like a little bit of noise all the time.
Hmm.
So I will either be at work, and while stuff is going on and things are demanding and need my attention, I then can focus into disappearing into another world. So if I'm in a cafe and there's a lot of things going on, I can disappear into another world. So that's how my creative juices manifest.
Got it. That makes sense. That makes sense.
I hope
Okay.
it does. It sounds a little crazy.
No, it definitely makes sense. Um, and then you, like you said, you get that inspiration too, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because like I said, I like to people watch, and so I'm an Aquarius, so we're dreamers. We're always in the clouds, and I
Hmm.
can look at someone. I'm like, I wonder what their story's like, and I'm creating a whole narrative, and I wonder what's happening here. And so that's how I create stories.
That's funny. I will admit I do that too. I'm a Pisces, so I think it's the water sign thing to do.
Yeah,
Interesting. What would you say the importance of collaborating in the filmmaking industry for our community? What would you have to say on that?
I think it's extremely important. I've tried in the past. I won't name any names. I've tried because I think it is we have to galvanize with each other, if for no other reason to stay connected and tell our stories, and so that we are gatekeepers of our stories and
Hmm.
collaborating with other filmmakers, talent, actors, whatever.
Hmm.
I think it's paramount. I mean, you it would be a much more enriched story and experience if you have other people, tapping in. Now, too many artists in a room usually is too many artists in the room, and someone needs to know what role they're playing and stay in that role, um,
Hmm.
and check your ego to the side. And not everyone can do that, but I think the collaboration is just really important. And there was, like I said, there was a time when there were a lot more web series, and it was great when I could connect with some of the other people, like Dane Joseph. He used to do Drama Queens, and him and I, whenever we see each other now, it's, hey, how you doing? Because it was like we were battling, not each other, we were just in a battle at the same time, trying to tell our stories, and it's cool knowing that.
I hope that there is a time where that collaboration and that kind of team effort to shift the paradigm with Black gay entertainment. I hope that it happens, and I hope that it happens in such a way that you have no choice but to win. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
we
really do.
there's a catalog that has not been put together of Black gay content, and that's sad. I don't know if I don't want to say I don't know if I'm going to see it in my lifetime. I think we have to see it in my lifetime, but
We
there
have to.
is a literal catalog of Black gay content. I shouldn't have to, when I want to watch something gay, think, oh, what's the white show that came out, or what's. I shouldn't have to think about that. I should want to see, easily click and see myself and my brothers and sisters on screen, on a platform that represents us in a way that no one else ever have.
Hmm.
If I've got to put it together in the most janky way because I ain't got no money, sure, that's what I want to see, and I think a lot of people would want to see that.
Right. And we appreciate, even with just beginning to do it, like, of course, it starts off rocky, and there's growth that needs to happen, but we appreciate the effort. And even for just that, I think if we rally together and support, we'll see change quicker. So
Absolutely.
are there any themes or messages that you try to make sure that your productions really feed into or deliver to the audience?
Yeah, one of the strongest ones that I've been trying to convey is mental health in
Okay.
our community. The character of Morris, played by Kenyon, has been through a lot,
Hmm.
including rape, uh, and just recently, I guess you call it slut shaming because something happens in the season finale of season five. That goes to that theme, and the character sees a therapist, and his character also recommended a therapist to someone else. The therapist is played by Christopher Weaver, D. Weaver, I should say. And I think it's important that we don't have a stigma against mental health. We don't downplay the importance of mental health. I don't know about you, but there's days when I'm at work and I'm like, I need a mental health day. I like need to leave
Amen.
because it's important that we get that respite, we get that treated and looked at. So that's been a component since my Finding Me series. I've been That's one of the biggest things that I kind of message, that I've
Yeah.
been trying to put forward, that mental health is very important. Also, friendships, I think we think they're just readily available and we all have friends and we don't need to tend to them like relationships, but friendships are very important because the family that we choose are usually our friends, and
True.
I think it's very important that we keep an eye on the people around us because that can also affect our mental health.
True. I
And
love.
then, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
um Although this is a little more controversial in a sense, Black Love, I would say, is something I like to promote, although that show, most of the people got divorced at this point. So um I I I just feel like promoting Black love, Black community, Black owned businesses, Black music for me is important. Every weekend, I try to make sure that I uh, support some Black business because for 5 days out of my work week, I'm giving money to white folks. On the weekends, I'm doing my best to put money back into our community so that it stays within our community. I don't like the fact that there are groups that look at us as liquid money because our money constantly goes out of our community. I want our
Okay.
money to circle within our community. And if I have to do it alone, even if I have to spend more money because the Black businesses need to raise their prices in order to stay open, I will pay it because it's important that we support each other.
This is true. This is true. And you tapped on it. When the industry sees black gay people, they see trillions of dollars. But
Trillion.
we, as a community, or as filmmakers, or writers, songwriters, performers, we're struggling for visibility. How in
Yes.
the hell is that possible? And yet they see trillions of dollars in us.
And because this is a safe space, I don't like giving ammunition to outside of our groups, but we also have to look at ourselves and understand the parts that we play. If there's a Black gay pride event, why is it that we will pay so much money for, and it's okay that I'm only using this person's name, I don't want to name drop, but a performer, a well-known female rapper to come to the event. Yes, we love to see her. But what about the local performers?
Hmm.
Why are we not giving them the same kind of play? I mean, they're busting their butt to make product, to make content, and we overplay it. Like we dismiss it, and we need to look at ourselves instead of always wanting things with labels made by Europeans. What about the labels that we make ourselves and start promoting that?
True. I love it though. That's what we're about, and that's the message. That's the conversation that needs to be had. You
Yes.
know. So I love that. I love that, and thank you for sharing and not being afraid to knock at that door, because it's something that I think we all need to hear and need to start having dialogue around. You
Yeah.
know.
I'm
Yeah.
very passionate about supporting us.
Got it. What's something that your viewers or our viewers may not know is on the horizon without giving too much, but even if it's down the scope or if it's coming up soon, what should we be looking out for?
I just created my own magazine, and it's called like OOMPH,
Got
and
it.
it's spotlighting um, black eroticism, black artistic nudity, intimacy, uh, and again, this was because I don't see that enough done when you're looking at a magazine or any publication. We're like in the middle. We're rarely on the cover, and so I'm doing this independently as always. So um, yeah, I'm gonna create as much as I can because I can't help but create.
Mhm.
There was a moment when I stopped doing filming. This is when Finding Me the series ended, and I took a year break, and I only got 6 months in, and I was scratching like a crackhead. Like I need to create something. I need to create something. I need to create,
Right.
and that's when I started doing the talks to myself and all the other stuff. So what people may not know, and it's out right now. If you go to Instagram and you go to OOMPHZINE, you will find the page, and where you can purchase the magazine. Again, it's about just spotlighting us.
Yes, yes. Like, I remember the magazines from back in the day. I guess I can name like one or two, maybe, without blushing too hard. But you had magazines back in the day, like the naughtier ones,
Hmm.
Black Inches, or
Right.
the other ones that were out there. But having those ones that gives you that true artistic view, that, like you said, teeters that line of raunchy, but yet artistic,
Tasteful and artistic.
tasteful.
Right.
Yes. So I myself, I'm excited to see it. I have not seen it yet, but I definitely want to help people get to it, and I'm getting my copy too. So
Thank you. So this is the cover, and these are two of the actors from the Talks to Myself series.
okay, okay,
This is the back cover.
got it. I love it.
And I'll show you. So it's like intimacy, but
Yeah,
there's racier stuff in here too. But
got it. It gives me coffee table book vibes.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
that's definitely the vibe I was going for. Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. I like it. All right.
thank you.
Where can viewers go to catch up on episodes or binge episodes if they've not seen it already? Where would you rather they go?
They should go to omiprotv.co, not com.co. That there you can download, rent, or subscribe. The subscription is $5.99, and you can cancel anytime you want to. You can watch everything that's been done. The Finding Me series, the James and Danielle restitution, and all of Talks to Myself. And there's some like behind the scenes stuff on there. And then the two movies will soon be on a platform as well because I finally own all the rights to the movies again. Um, but yeah, omiprotv.co is where you would go. In the meantime, for those who want to just binge and not pay anything, you can watch the first 3 seasons of Talk to Myself on YouTube. Then just type in Omi Pro TV.
Yes, yes, but just from me to you might as well go to omiprotv.co, because once you see those first 3 seasons on YouTube, you're not gonna want to stop. So just gotta get the subscription. Like,
Yeah, and I have to say it wasn't this wasn't a marketing design to get people to come to omiprotv.co. What
yeah.
happened is YouTube literally is blocking because the series gets a little racier in terms of sexual content, and
Hmm.
it doesn't meet YouTube's guidelines. So it has to be on a different platform if you want to see us tell our stories authentically.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's why. Omi Pro. That's why season 4 and season 5 are not on Omi Pro. I mean, are not on YouTube. And season 4 and season 5 are really good. I'm not saying that to sound conceited. They're just really good.
They are really good. Like the entire franchise that you're building is phenomenal. Like there's quality thought placed into the scenery, where the takes are, who's chosen to play what role. Like I've seen it. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm a fan. So I'll get
Really,
too carried
I
away.
really appreciate that.
Is there anything that we've not touched on that you would like for us to touch on?
No, I mean, you asked great questions. This was a great interview.
Oh,
Is there anything else you want to know? Because I enjoyed this a lot. This was really good. This is really
really?
cool.
So I did have some other questions. Um, yeah, I think I'll ask them. They might be, you might find them kind of funny. Okay. So if you could create a movie with animals only, animals only as the main characters,
Mhm.
what would the plot be for that movie?
um, that's that's a funny question. What would the plot be for that movie? It would be them getting their freedom, like I'd have them in a zoo,
Hmm.
and getting their freedom to live the way they want to live
Oh, okay.
in the
Okay. I
free,
like that.
wild, in their inhabitants. I don't know if that's a word.
Like close enough.
Right.
Okay. Um, Now, if you were to make a film about your life, what genre would it be? And who would you have cast to play you?
Wow. Okay. About my life, genre would be. I don't know the name of the genre of what's the name of the movie with Mahogany. That would definitely be the genre.
Really? Mahogany, that's one of my favorite movies.
It would definitely be okay. So maybe 70s, I guess 70s. Black. It wasn't black. That wasn't as black exploitation, but I just love the feel of that movie.
Yeah.
Uh, who would play me? I would get the kid. I don't know his name from Stranger Things on Netflix. The black guy, the only black guy on there.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't know his name, but I would love for him to play me.
Got it. Got it. Okay. And I can't think of his name either. Oh my gosh.
He is growing up to be a very handsome man.
Yeah, that he is. Um, so, if your life could be a soundtrack, what?
I already know
You already know it. Go ahead.
it. Jill Scott, Easy Conversation from
Yeah.
the Brown from the Brown Sugar movie. That song. There's two. Okay, so there's one. That's one.
Okay.
Sade's Kiss of Life.
Got it. All right. Deep. That's deep. Okay. Um, what is the most embarrassing or silliest moment that you've experienced on set?
Most embarrassing or silliest moments. Let's see. It's so many. I can't because they're usually of the actors. Stuff that happens, on the tape. Okay, so there's one in this recent season. Two of the actors, Derek Butler, who plays Topher, he's the muscular guy,
Mhm.
and Chad Bailey, who plays his new love interest. There's a sex scene, and it's a very steamy sex scene, and it takes place. They're having sex on a dining room table, and they
Whew.
both have oil on them.
Okay.
So when they're having doing the motion of having sex, Chad's back, there was a basically a pocket of space created a sound that made it sound like he farted. And we all just laughed. I can't I can't put it in the bloopers because they would censor it, but it is the funniest funniest blooper.
That's funny. Actually, we had Chad on the show.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
yeah, and he spoke highly of you too. He did say you're amazing to work with, and he gave you a shout out. So hopefully you did see it.
Yeah, Chad is one of the new actors on the series, and he's great. He is great. So
That's
talented.
yes, yes. I yeah, I'm thankful because through you, you're impacting other people, you're giving opportunities, and I mean the sky is the limit, really. I mean, of course, it takes the work and the drive, but one day, one day, we will be there.
I
But in
agree.
the meantime, you're freaking fantastic.
Thank you very
Um,
much.
and like I said in the beginning, I love your eye. And there are the things that get attention faster, but the messages that you send or try to focus on sending, like friendships, healthy friendships, loving yourself and mental health, there's an audience. We want to see that too. And so when it can be also noisy, I'm appreciative for entertainment or media like that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
It really means a lot. It really does.
that's amazing.
I just want to say your platform is amazing, by the way, honestly.
Oh,
We
really?
need
Thank you.
we need this. We really, really need this.
Yes, I will admit, even just hearing you talk, a lot resonates with me, and I'm kind of going through it too. Um, Even from being independent and doing everything yourself
Everything.
and working a 9 to 5
And working a 9 to 5.
and
Yes.
having a husband and all
Yes.
like,
Yes.
come on, y'all.
And if you don't feed that baby, the baby will die. You have to tend to it all the time. I
True.
know it.
That is true. Ooh. All right. So let me pull it back because I'm a crier. I am a crier. All right. So family, if you've not already, make sure you check out omiprotv.co. That's co. You can catch up on finding me, talks with myself, and other great, thoughtful shows that Roger Omeus has given us the gift of. You can find him on Instagram, Director Roger, I believe, and YouTube as well, Omi TV, right?
Omi Pro
So,
TV.
Omi Pro TV. So, again, we thank you for joining. And as always, show up and show out. We know the impacts of our support. Check it out.